Haven't seen you around in a while. Where have you been? New look, you found your style.
I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Turn on my mic before Kathy shoots me. You hear me? All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Des Moines Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for December 5th. What can I say? December 5th, 2013. I want to welcome everyone. I'd like to get the rules and procedures out of the way right now. The Planning and Zoning Commission is generally an advisory body to the City Council. The City Council will hold a public hearing and make the final decision on all matters before the Commission other than site plans and preliminary subdivision plats. The Commission's decision to approve or deny a site plan or subdivision plat will be the final decision of the City unless the applicant appeals to the City Council. You'll need to contact the City Clerk or Community Development Department staff for details on those council hearings. This evening, the applicant will be given 10 minutes to present the request after presentation by staff. Proponents and then opponents are allowed to speak, with each speaker allowed a maximum of 5 minutes. The applicant will be then given 5 minutes for rebuttal time. All comments are to be germane to the item under consideration, and speakers are to maintain a courteous manner. Items listed on the consent portion of the agenda will not be individually discussed, and I understand that we'll be moving some on, and we'll get to that in a minute, and will be considered for approval in accordance with the recommendation in the staff report, unless an individual present or a member of the Commission requests the item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately under the public hearing agenda. The City of Des Moines is pleased to provide accommodations to individuals or groups with disabilities and encourages participation in city government. To better serve you when possible, please notify us at least 3 business days in advance at area code 515-283-4209 should special accommodations be required. Assistive listening devices are also available for meetings in the council chambers. The Planning and Zoning Commission meetings are also broadcast on Mediacom Cable Channel 7 for customers with that service, and the broadcast is also streamed in real time on the City of Des Moines website at www.dmgov.org. You need to click the Watch Live link for details on those council. Minutes is, first of all, we have a quorum, Kathy, quorum being present. Minutes, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes? Move the minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Abstention. 1 abstention. 2 abstentions. Okay. 3 abstentions. 3. Tim, Shirley, Jack. Okay.
Tim, Shirley, and Jack, correct?
Yes. Okay, we're good? All right. I understand there's a motion to move some items.
Read through and see if there's anybody.
2 and 3?
To move 2 and 3 to consent.
Okay. First of all, let me go through here with the ones that are already, or the one that's already currently on consent, and that's a request from University Group LLC, represented by Jeff Spence, to rezone property located at 1414 Fremont Street. The subject property owner is the Des Moines Public Schools. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to that item? In opposition to the item? Okay. Then we're talking about moving items number 2 and 3 on as well. 2 is a request from Hubble Realty Company, represented by Steve Niebuhr. Got it, right? Okay. For review and approval of the site plan Artisan Row under design guidelines for multiple family dwellings on property located at 1623 Grand Avenue and 525 17th Street to allow development of 27 two-row dwellings. The subject property is owned by Meredith Corporation. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to that item? In opposition to the item? Seeing none. And number 3 is request from Hubble Realty Group. Once again, 525 17th Street, represented by Steve Niebuhr, for vacation of an irregular segment of Indianola Avenue right-of-way lying south, Ingersoll, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to move it to the south side. What can I say? Ingersoll Avenue right-of-way lying, oh, well. Sorry, Tim. You lost out on this one. Anyway, right-of-way lying south of the travel portion of the street between 16th and 17th Street to incorporate within the proposed development site on that block. The adjoining subject property is owned by Meredith Corporation. Is there any discussion with respect to moving 2 and 3 onto consent?
Well, I'd actually like to hear Mr. Niebuhr and Mr. Schiffler excite me about their project. Sorry, folks.
It's okay.
That's fine.
That's all right.
You can vote against me. I mean,
No, that's fine. I mean, if you want to take it off, it's off. That's how it works. Anybody in the audience that wants to take it off, takes it off. Yeah, it's not on. That's right. Okay, so with respect to item number 1?
We'll move that one.
Okay, move consent, okay. All right, all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand.
Are we voting on consent?
Consent. to
Item
consent.
1.
Item 1. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Carries. Jason, are you presenting?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Jack, let me ask you a question. You want to consolidate 2 and 3?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Do
was
that, Jason.
intending to give a joint,
All right.
present them as a joint case. I'll be pretty brief, and then we can let Steve come up and excite Jack about the project. So this is this is the subject
job.
property at Grand Avenue, Ingersoll, 16th to 17th, western end of downtown. This map shows you the sliver right-of-way that is proposed to be vacated. That was something that we've encouraged the applicant to work with, so I'm very supportive of that. Response map, no responses. Photographs of the site, Grand Avenue, 17th Street, the existing commercial building that's staying, back looking south, and very dark picture looking across Ingersoll towards the south. So here's the layout, parking, drive here with grade separation, so these are not connected. From the drive standpoint, working with them on the details of the Ingersoll streetscape along Ingersoll Avenue. The applicant has agreed to the staff conditions, staff recs. I won't really go into a lot of labor talking about the details in that, other than we're sorting out the details of the streetscapes, burying utilities, a few other odds and ends. So we have units fronting Grand Avenue, a couple that front the side streets, and then the Ingersoll ones.
So, again, this plan reflects already the right-of-way being incorporated into their site, how the buildings on Ingersoll are oriented, correct?
Right, yes it does. And what that, if we don't incorporate that in the site, then these buildings all kind of sit back and you have a very awkward interaction between the buildings and the street, and also cramps down the space within the site. So this kind of addresses two things. One, from our standpoint, a kind of an urban design thing, and then two, from the applicant standpoint, circulation, making the site more functional for the future residents. This is just quickly the landscape, plant material layout, and we are sorting out the details, and we'll have some comments and adjustments that will be made. Show you the architecture. So this is a color rendering typical of all the buildings to give you an idea of the color palette that's being proposed. It's a mix of masonry. Not all the masonry is red, some of the masonry is gray, so each unit has masonry. And then a cement board lap siding. Rooftop patios has been successful on their other projects like it. Masonry on the street ends. I don't know if I need to really sort through all the details, all the detail sheets. We do have detailed drawings of each building. Wanted to make sure that we were looking at the other facades and working with the applicant, making sure that we weren't just getting so focused on the one set of buildings that we have in color. But happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any discussion? Jack? Thank you. Can the applicant please come forward? Here's your name and address.
Steve Niebuhr with Hubble Realty Company, 6900 Westtown Parkway, West Des Moines, Iowa. Here to present Artisan Row. It's a brownstone product that we've done successfully down at 2nd and Grand. The architecture has been changed, but a lot of the amenity package that was successful at Second and Grand we've incorporated in this project. As Jason mentioned, some of the things that we found that the buyers really like are the rooftop garden with pergola. That was really important. We added it after the fact on Second and Grand and decided to make it just a standard feature so they all look the same and really get it mended into the architecture. So that's being done. They'll have 2-car garages attached to the unit, so you can get out of your unit, walk right into your unit, and walk into the kitchen. So the units are 1,350 square feet. We'll probably phase the project. We've kind of broken up the building so that we can do it in multiple phases. We'll build them, sell them. Just guessing, we'll probably do maybe 8 to 10 in the first phase and then work our way through it. Total of 27 units. The site does have quite a bit of green space, really, for a row home product. We've got an interior green space here that we purposefully created for the residents. Pets are hugely important and to downtown dwellers, and it's really been a point of difference for us. I've read a couple articles, and they've cited that the latest generation, pets are substituting for kids early on, and they're choosing to have kids later, and that's why we're seeing a lot of pets in the downtown market. So we've kind of created that little area for them to exercise the dog or do whatever and create a green space. Some of the other things we've done in working with staff is create a bump out along Grand as a feature to calm the traffic relating to the parking areas that are there. We will have some additional parking on the site for visitors. We're planning on retaining the old Iowa Paint retail store. It's a great building, kind of iconic, and we feel we can attract a office type user for that, keep it commercial. So that parking will be shared between guests of the residents and the 6,000 square foot commercial building. So I've got with me Brian Schiffler, Chad with ERG, our civil engineer, and Chris Sidoris with Hubble. So really here just to answer any questions.
You need to know that my use of the word excited was perhaps a little out of place. I drive by this every day and have for 30 years and have, of course, watched the transition of downtown over the last decade in particular, and have a great interest in the way things are being developed in downtown, thinking it's generally great. I kind of want to hear from my friend and design professional, Mr. Schiffler, and see what excites him about this project and how he intends to have it stand apart from some of the other projects that have popped up in the periphery of downtown.
Yield the floor.
Tall order, Brian.
So Brian, it's passed to you to excite.
Well, I'm Brian Schiffler, Schiffler Associates. For the first time, I can say 1440 Locust Street. Yeah. When I got a call from Mr. Niebuhr to design a whole block in the city of Des Moines, I too was very excited about it. I don't just drive by this lot every single day. I look at it every single day. So for me, it was an important assignment, and my first fret was how will 13 units all stacked up along Grand Avenue look to the hundreds of people that pass it every single day. And so, as I think as Jason successfully described, what we tried to do was to break the units down as much as possible. And we set off to design 27 different buildings. If you think about a neighborhood, you don't have 27 houses that are alike. You don't just have one that's brick and one that's siding. You have 27 different houses. So there's actually a very popular trend now in community development, and that is to establish design parameters and then give individual designers freedom within those parameters. And so that's exactly what we gave to our office. We set up a series of high water marks that all of the brick always terminates at, which gave us sill points throughout the block. And then we gave ourselves other arbitrary rules, like every time there was a light brick, we would have a cornice. And every time there would be a red brick, we would have more detailed brickwork. And so by deciding to change the windows and change where the light and dark bricks go, we created 27 different units. I believe that since we created those internal design guidelines for ourselves, that the project will hold together as a unit, but yet there will be still individual diversity. I think that people like to look at their home and say, I own that. And so 27 different families will be able to look at 27 different units and say, I own that. That is mine. It's not like any other unit on this block. But yet when you add all 27 units up together, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Well, of course, I know you as a meticulous design professional, and I have to listen to my young design critic every time he comes home, so I thought I'd ask a few questions. And really, Brian, the black and white didn't do it justice, and to hear what you're trying to accomplish here with the visual impact. I know there's probably a price point constraint that you have to deal with, but with the brick facades and the design elements that you described, coupled with what I understand will be adoption of some streetscape features.
Yes.
I think it'll fly.
I'll go on to say I brought one other treat for you. Mr. Wadier can explain how this is done, but software today will enable you to take a two-dimensional drawing and have it become a three-dimensional drawing. And so this is the three-dimensional representation of what Jason and company have been looking at. And one of the things we prided ourselves on is whether it was a 6-unit or a 4-unit or a 3-unit or a 7-unit, we always tried to end the run of units with a mostly brick facade. If you think about the directions that traffic travels on a block, they're going to get a fairly good shot at the end of a lot of these units. And so there we paid particular attention to try to enhance the buildings with more brickwork.
That's good, and Steve will recall that he and I had a slight disagreement on that a couple years ago over some of the Second Avenue properties when I mentioned something called clapboard, and we got in a little tussle about that. But I'm glad for the brick facades. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I would first of all compliment and thank Jack for asking the presentation. It's very interesting, I think, and I think most of us actually are excited about this particular project. I have, Mr. Schiffler, a question about it. My question is about the palette of color. These units are similar in a certain way to the row houses that Steve mentioned on Grand Avenue. And second, the palette there is considerably lighter. The palette here is considerably darker. And I'd like to hear your walkthrough selection.
Well, one of my favorite color combinations of all is red brick and black or dark bronze clapboarding, and that really is where it started. And even though it was described as gray brick, that's I think more of a printer hiccup. We've seen it as a beige and beige brick, but we wanted something more dramatic. And I think as an architect, you're always trying to create a unique image, and this is simply a look that I haven't seen in Des Moines. You can drive all throughout the East Coast and see bits and pieces of it, but it hasn't migrated to the plains yet.
Great.
I too really appreciate the presentation. Honestly, I was having a hard time consenting the black and whites because I didn't understand at all what you were going to accomplish here, and I think this is a really nice project. I actually hope you stay with the gray. I think this is a nice contrast. It's beautiful. And I hope your pergolas are white like this as opposed to the other wood ones. But this is really nice.
Thank you.
Any other? Joanne?
What I find so interesting about this design is all the windows and doors are pretty much the same shape, same position. Everything is the same. But then you look at what you've done to the facade of each unit, and it's totally different. You have to look at it twice in order to see the similarity. But once you notice it, it's quite striking, I think. I like the white pergolas also. And I'm not real hot on modern design, but I kind of like this one. That's for sure. I like vintage looking
I'll keep
things.
working on you. I'll win you over.
Oh, I kind of like vintage looking things, but this one I do appreciate. It's very nice.
Any other comments, questions?
I'll move staff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, before we move staff, we're going to need to open the public hearing. Is there anyone to speak on behalf of the application? On behalf of the application? Seeing none, anyone here to speak in opposition to the application? Likewise, seeing none, I'm going to, likewise, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Now you can move staff, Greg. Okay. All right, good. Any discussion?
I have one piece of discussion that has nothing to do with this project, but unless I get my question answered, I might not get the chance, and so I'll do it now. This is a question of staff. The maps that we got in our packet, I found very unhelpful.
Yeah.
I don't know about my other colleagues, but it gave me no sense of where anything
On
was.
the front page.
Yes.
Yeah, we're in the middle of changing some software and the way we do some stuff, and it doesn't look like it executed very well in the copier. So we'll take a look at that, see how to get it produced better.
Yes.
This is our maiden voyage on.
Jason, is that color? Is that what it is? It's color, and so I didn't pull out.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Ted, do you have something?
Yeah. Is it okay to talk about this item? No.
I hope so.
Just kidding, Will. This project is within the Ingersoll Grand revitalization plan area, and I think this is absolutely consistent with what that plan that has been presented here and had 10 neighborhoods input on, and quite a few of the business folks and property owners, and you know, Hubbell's putting exactly what we think we need to see there, and these things will sell, gets more people in the area, which is another part of the plan that we really like. You know, I know Brian as well, and so I was really confident about the design, and I like it too, Brian. Thanks. I do like modern, but anyhow, this is extremely consistent with. You'd hope there's more of this coming. There's a few more places. I think you'll see a lot more of this in that district over the next couple of years, and some more mixed use stuff as well. And so this along with a couple other projects. So the front end is several of these coming over the next couple of years, we hope, in that district. So anyway, I think it looks great.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Irvine told me that he believed that Hubbell agreed to all of staff's recommendations.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that where we are?
Yeah.
That's it. Tim?
You know, I'd like to see what the patio looks like. I mean, I'm excited about this project too, but every picture that we saw was at the pergola. Do you have a concept of what the top will look like if you're up on the patio? Are they divided?
You wish it was on Indianola Road, is that right?
Yeah. We can find room for it. Is there a conceptual picture?
We haven't gone that far yet. I mean, we've got a rough idea. I don't.
Beautiful buildings.
Anybody else? Okay. Move staff, right?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Acclamation, Kathy. Passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the presentation, by the way, guys. Item number 4, Jason, I understand that that's been removed. Is that right?
Yes, the last item before has been withdrawn by the applicant. So that's all we have on the agenda except for the director's report.
And you guys should have gotten an email on that, but, I mean, I know that I did, but,
It was in the paper.
oh, it was in the paper? So if you read the paper, you know.
Mr. Chair, does the fact that we voted to approve the design of the site as good enough to approve the vacation of the street?
Yeah, I think we're just going to consolidate that into one because we've had both of them present at the same time. I don't think we necessarily need, I mean, the whole idea is to have the mix there, so unless council has any problem with it. There are a couple things, director's report, but there is one thing I want to bring up, and I know that the nominating committee had a meeting tonight. We're asking that anybody and everybody that would like to serve on that, please do so. Just because we've designated chairs doesn't mean you guys can't have some input, and we really, really are looking forward to that input from you. At least once a year we get that, right? Okay. Did you have something?
Just briefly, I apologize, the amendment to the bylaws was omitted from this agenda. It'll be on the December 19th meeting. Thank you.
Is there anything else for the good of the group? Seeing none, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Change your view. Walk the city block in these shoes. Something old for something new. Change your view. Heard you moved out west. Rumors, gossip, and tabloid papers said it was for the best.